All right, everyone, we're going to be starting. So I'm going to be going over how to create your transaction, all the documents that you're going to need, all the required documents depending on which kind of deal you have, if it's a sale or rental, new construction, even a CDA, and how to submit it, what our submit button is. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen.
For those of you that do not have access to Transaction Desk yet, you can go ahead and email myself and Carolina. I'll put our email in the chat. Just in case if you don't have Transaction Desk access yet, you can go ahead and email us.
Okay, can everyone see my screen here? The chat's not showing up for me anymore.
Yeah,
Yes, I can see it.
Alrighty. Okay, perfect. So first thing you're gonna do is create transaction. My screen looks a little bit different because I have different access, but same thing, create transaction. And Roberto gave me some of his documents so we can actually upload each document and you can go through and see what that looks like. So once you click create transaction, the first thing you're gonna do is name your transaction. You can name it either your client's name or the property's address. This is going to be on your dashboard. All your transactions are going to be on your dashboard. So however you want to organize yourself, that's up to you. So I'm going to do both. I'm going to put the name, the client's name, and the address. I'm going to try address here.
3111 Tarpon.
Okay. So 3111 Tarpon Drive. And the client name? What was it going to say?
Guy Lobo, Guy Love.
Okay. So I'm just going to do it like that. You can do either or you can do it like that, where you put the name and the address. And then here, really important, the template. This is what's going to set you up for later. So this is where you're going to choose your checklist. And make sure that it says ready for pay. So if it's a rental community, meaning you weren't really involved in the process, you took your client to a rental community, it's only going to ask you for 3 documents, which would be the invoice that you sent to your rental community, the commission request form, and the deposit receipt. If it was a regular rental where you had a seller's disclosure, not a seller's disclosure, an escrow letter, that's going to be this one, the closed lease rental ready for pay. There's a new construction one, closed sale ready for pay, which is probably going to be the most common one, and vacant land, and we have a CDA. So it's going to be one of these. For this one, it's a closed sale ready for pay. And then you're either the listing or the selling agent or both. So make sure you're filling out this first spot here. So selling agent, and you can use the wizard and create. Okay, so once that is done, the first page it's gonna bring you to is here, where you're gonna put in all your property information and the transaction type. So let me pull up the information.
The assets is the contract.
Okay. So you guys would probably know this by heart if you've been working with this property or your deal for a while. I'm gonna put it on my other screen. Okay. So residential sale, anything that's in blue, you definitely need to fill out. And then the address, which is 3111. Right here is just the street number, and then the rest of the address is going to go here. This was Florida. So that's really the main information I need. So make sure you're selecting transaction type, property type, fill out the address, make sure you separate the street number, and then the rest of the address, the city, state, and your zip code. And then purchase price. So anything that's in blue. What's the purchase price?
$386. You sound a little muffled. I don't know why.
Not sure.
No.
Okay. Next, you don't need to fill out any of this information. It's really just the address and then anything that's in blue. That's all that's needed. Offer date. We'll just put the first date, closing date, make the closing date. If you're not requesting your commission in the same month that you're requesting it, make the closing date the day that you're requesting the commission. So, and then next. We don't need this, contacts, we don't need that right now, forms, documents we don't need right now, done. Now you have your basic information filled out. The next thing you're gonna do is go to checklist right here on the right-hand side. So remember when we selected our template at the beginning, now when you go to checklist, this is what it's setting you up for. So all the documents that we're requiring are right here. So we're gonna attach each document. And we only need these documents that we're asking for. You don't need to attach any extra documents. So attach, and you can grab them directly from your computer. Click attach and click that blue box. I made a folder just for this. So we need the executed purchase contract. So that's this document, and it's gonna upload it right there. So there's several ways to add documents to your transaction. So that's one way. You can grab it directly from your computer. If you click there. If you have been working on this deal already and you've been adding your documents here on documents, and they're already sitting there, you can also grab them from there as well by clicking on attach and then going to this box, select from documents. So if you have documents sitting there already, you can just grab them by going to that box. Or let's just say that you have your documents in an email. You can email them to the transaction and it'll automatically upload them to your documents. You'll still have to select each document that you need, but it will automatically just load them onto the transaction. And to do that, you would go here, email upload. Each transaction creates like a unique email. So you can copy that. And this one, for example, and I can email them to the transaction by forwarding. So just forward, copy the email, click forward, add the email to it, and it's going to send it to the transaction. So it'll take a few minutes, but those documents are going to pop up here. So we'll check on that in a second. So I'm going to keep adding them by just going to my documents on my computer. Seller's disclosure. Did you have one? The seller's disclosure?
Yeah, it's there.
Escrow letter. If you have all the documents from your property, then it should be really easy. It's just a matter of attaching it. The IMAP. Oh, and another thing, let's just say you don't have a document for whatever reason, so which will usually be either the escrow letter or the seller's disclosure. If you don't have a document to upload, go to Word and just type in no escrow, quick closing, whatever the reason was, and upload that. And that'll fulfill the checklist. And we have that on record as well. One that wasn't why there was no escrow letter or seller's disclosure.
I'll interrupt real quick. There should be no reason you don't have an escrow letter or a seller's disclosure for sales. Sometimes if it's a foreclosure, bank owned, that may be an issue. But yeah, you need to make sure that you have the escrow letter is a must if you give an escrow. If not, the seller's disclosure is super important to have. So you need to make sure that you have that on there.
Okay, my documents, I think they're here now. So remember how when I went to documents earlier, there was nothing in there but this livestock commission request form. Now all my documents have been automatically uploaded to the transaction. So they're sitting here. I still need to attach them to the requirement. So we're gonna try it that way. I'm gonna select from my documents. And you can see what you're uploading to. If you're not sure, maybe it has a weird name on it, you can look at it. It's not that one, so. Did you have an MLS listing copy?
Yes, yes.
Just have the IMO. Okay. And the Alta. And the commission request form. Now the commission request form, make sure you're filling out all the information. I'm gonna open it. So here's an example. So your name, make sure you include your branch. If you're in a team, make sure you include your team so that I know, what split to give to your team. Property address here, transaction type, really important. The closed sale, you're either gonna select you're the buyer, the seller, or if you're both, then select both. On the rental, you're either the representing the tenant or the landlord, or both. So make sure, because I've seen rental, but then buyer, seller, make sure you're selecting what's corresponding to each button. Or if it's a referral, then just let me know what side the referral was from. And then include your buyer or seller name, your tenant or landlord name. And this part is really important as well, the co-op brokerage and the co-op agent and email. Now, the sales, the breakdown. The percentage, make sure that it's matching from the Alta, the final Alta, make sure that number is matching, because that's gonna pretty much set up the whole math for everything. So if you wanna receive your commission check, that's the number that I'm gonna start off. So if we receive the commission and it was 815, that's my beginning number. And then I'll go in the Alta and I'll check if you collected the transaction fee or not. If the check that I receive is 7,720, that's going to be my beginning number. And if you didn't collect the transaction fee for any reason, then that comes off the bottom. So in this case, the transaction fee was collected. So I'm just going to show you guys what basically I do to calculate this. So 8,115 minus 395, so that's a 720, so that's matching. And then on this deal, it's 10%, so 90. Oh no.
Is it wrong? Is it wrong? That could be. Maybe my own math is wrong.
Yes. So, but this is a good example because I'm gonna cross-check your math. And if I do need to correct anything, then I will. But if it's off for whatever reason, I'm gonna contact you and let you know, is there a reason why this is like this?
Oh yeah, see, it's 811 with 50 cents. I did 815.
So In this case, he did the 10% off of the
It's incorrect.
8,115. So that would he's like kind of making it worse for himself by going off of this number rather than this number. So just make sure you're checking your math. It's for your benefit. And then down here, make sure you select if you want an ACH, it's 2 days. So you submit your commission and I receive it, I process it today. I will most likely pay it that same day. And then it's 2 days from the day that I send you the confirmation. And if you want wire transfer, then it would be the same day, but there is a fee for that. If your deal is split with another agent or any notes that you want to leave me, make sure that you put that down here in the comments or notes. So that way I know what's going on. And then the most important, the commission receipt. If you deposited your check yourself to a lifestyle account, make sure you keep that receipt and you take a picture of that, and that's what you're going to upload there. If the check came into Miami Lakes and I deposited, reach out to me and I will send you a Excel line, pretty much like this. I'll send you a line from an Excel sheet, and that's your confirmation, and that'll tell me that I deposited. And that's what you're going to upload. You could either screenshot it or print it to PDF and upload that. So, oh, you're not going to have a receipt.
No, I will not have a receipt for that, but I believe it's on your Excel sheet now.
Okay. Well, I'm just going to upload something just so we see all the documents submitted there. So everything is submitted. Once you attach all the documents, it's going to say submitted, but that doesn't mean that I received it. So the last step is, probably the most important, is changing the status up here to closed. There's closed and closed for complete. And you may want to select this one. It's just closed, closed. And then click this check mark right here so that it saves. Once I review it and approve all the documents, I'm going to change it to closed file complete, and that's how you know that it's completely done.
They won't have access to it once you do that.
Yeah, and you won't have access because I'm going to lock the transaction. So that's how you know it's completely approved and everything. So let me just show you what I go through. I look at it and then I approve the document. If for any reason it's not the right document or it's not what we're asking for, or there's something wrong, so like for this isn't the receipt, right? So I'm gonna reject it, and I'm gonna say deposit. And then you're gonna receive an email saying that this document was rejected, and it's gonna have my notes on it on why.
Hey, why you rejecting
it? So if you need to upload a new document that I rejected, you click on that reject button and it'll let you upload a revision there. So that's how you would upload a new document. Or if maybe you caught something that you did wrong, you attached the wrong document, you can click on the submit it and it'll unattach the document. In this case, it's not going to let me because I have different access, but you would just click on that and it'll unattach the document and you can select a new document.
You click on that or the little three balls, the little three
Or
balls.
yeah, or
it's there, yeah. Remove from queue.
Remove from queue. Let's just say that you selected your template at the very beginning, but you selected the wrong checklist by mistake. You can still add the correct checklist. You don't need to make a whole new transaction. You can just click on add checklist. So let's just say what I actually need is a new construction. So I'll click here and apply. Agents don't have the ability to do any deletions, but that's once I see that you have maybe 2 or 3 checklists on there, I'll know that I need to delete the other ones. You can filter them here so you don't get confused, and you'll have all these to attach. So this is the checklist that you actually need. So you can always correct yourself and add checklists, add whatever checklist you need. Any questions so far?
You guys can put any questions on the chat and I'll be answering them. So if you guys have any concerns, any questions about the process,
Or you can speak as well. This is recorded, so it'll be helpful for other agents.
I want to make sure that you guys understand that I will be checking. What are these things? I will be checking to make sure that all these contracts, the executed purchase contract, the seller's property disclosure, they are fully executed. We get a lot of them that are, that we just can't pay because we get the contract, signed by one party or not signed by the other. Both the contract, the seller's disclosure, and that final ALTA need to be executed by both parties. We're not going to accept any document that's not, any of those documents that's not executed by both parties. So make sure that you guys are aware, as we get a lot of people, we all want to get paid. Once we close the transaction, we want to rush, get the paperwork in, but rushing is just going to make it even worse. So make sure that you guys have your papers in order, your documents in order, everything filled out, the checklist properly filled in, so that Carolina and I can process your commission as quick as possible. Something to take note, if commissions, we process commissions as soon as they come in. But sometimes, as our brokerage is growing, we're getting a ton of commissions on a daily basis. So there's a cutoff time that we need to execute
2 p.m.
In order for us to process the people's commission, the agent's commission that have requested it the same day on time. So typically we're cutting off at 2 o'clock is the official cutoff time. Anything after 2 o'clock, depending on our workload, will be processed for the next business day. Anything prior to 2 o'clock, or depending on the workload is a little bit light, we may process all the way through the end of the day. But I just want to make sure that you guys are clear that 2 o'clock is the cutoff time for processing and getting paid, and getting the direct deposit confirmation the same day. So something to take note. So make sure your documents are properly filled out. The transaction desk is properly filled out. I want to point out something that now that she's in the screen, the street number and street name. The street number, the only thing you want to put up there is the number, and the street name is where you would put Northwest Tarpon Drive, Northwest 8th Street, Biscayne Boulevard, whatever it is. This way, this information can transfer over to our accounting system properly.
And past this, if you go to details and you can see all your information on the property and ask you for a bunch of stuff, I don't need anything past the closing date. So anything down here, you can leave that blank. That's what I'm going to fill out. And you don't need to fill out any of this information, outside brokers, trust and broker. You don't need to fill any of that out. Just offer date, closing date, purchase price. For rentals, the purchase price is going to be the annual amount of the lease. So whatever the lease amount times 12, that's going to be your purchase price. And address. So just to recap, create your transaction, name your transaction, either name or address or both. Select your template, which is going to be either a sale, a rental community, a CDA, a new construction, a vacant land. It's always going to say ready for pay at the end. So that's how you know. So even if you're a listing agent, another thing I've seen is if you're a listing agent, you're still going to select. So let's say it's a rental listing. We do have a rental listing checklist. That's for the MLS. That's not for getting paid. So regardless of being the listing agent or the selling agent, it's gonna say ready for pay at the end. You create your transaction, fill out your information, your address, property type, purchase price, offer date, closing date. I'm sorry, I don't know why this line is here. And then checklist, and attach all your documents. Once they all say submitted, you're going to change your status to closed and save it by clicking the check mark, and that's you submitting it. Changing it to closed and saving, that is your submit button, basically. And I'm going to get a notification. Let me just think I have one here. So this is what it looks like for me. So Alyssa's in here.
She's in the training too.
She changed this to close, so this is the notification that I get, and now I know that it's ready to be reviewed. And that's it. Any questions?
I'm answering the question on there. I want to re-emphasize executed documents. I keep coming back to this because it's extremely important that you guys have all these documents executed. This is going to slow down or stop your pay if we review these docs and the documents aren't executed. Another thing, we like to strive and differentiate ourselves from other brokerages. I get a lot of people asking me, "Oh, my other broker didn't ask for this, or this wasn't required." We don't care. We want this everything that we require are requirements that you as independent contractors should have. We just we're just here to check, to make sure and police that you guys are having those documents. So it's important. It's important for your own business, and it's obviously important for the brokerage to have these documents, and that's why we ask for them. So everything that's on that checklist, you need to make sure that you have it and that it's fully executed.
What are some questions that you're getting?
Just the password, how do they get access to transaction desk? How is the pass, is it through a password? For rental communities, the W-9, is it for the brokerage or for them? It's for the brokerage.
Let me show you what a rental community checklist looks like. Oh, and also, if you do have a rental listing that you need to get activated, you would do the rental listing checklist, and you can still do your ready for pay checklist on it as well. So you don't need to create a separate transaction. You can have two checklists, and we'll just filter it on the one that we need. Like this. That's the rental listing checklist. Let's look at rental community. Rental community only asks for the invoice, the commission request form, and the receipt of the deposit.
Somebody mark the page on this thing.
Anything else you want to touch on?
Yeah. This community rental checklist. This is used when you go to a building that kind of handles everything for you. In order for you to get paid, the building's gonna request an invoice. You're gonna attach that invoice on here. Obviously, after that, you're gonna want the commission request form filled out and proof that we received that money. Community rentals sometimes take a little bit to get paid, so it may be 3 to 4 weeks. We've seen up to 6 weeks sometimes. So be a little bit patient and always follow up with us to see if we received the check. A lot of them get mailed. It's important also if you can have them make sure that they put some type of referral on the check. A lot of them come with no information, so sometimes it's kind of a guessing game. Can you go to the closed rental checklist? She's gonna put up the closed rental checklist, and I want to point something out here for everyone. If for this rental checklist, we got a lot of people that do not provide the escrow letter. Mm-hmm. That escrow letter is important. If on the contract to lease, you marked that you will be using a title company or someone will be holding that escrow, I need a letter. It's part of the requirement. Sometimes the association polices us. Sometimes DBPR polices us. And a lot of our agents don't have that. So if you put on the contract to lease that Lifestyle Titles New World, XYZ title is going to be holding the escrow, you need to put it on there and you need to have an escrow letter from it. If we get a contract to lease that says that Lifestyle Title of New World is holding escrow and we do not have an escrow letter, you're not going to get paid. You're not going to get paid. And later on, you're not going to get paid. It's going to hold you up. So it's important that you please make sure for your rental checklist that if you put on the contract to lease that someone's holding escrow, you include the escrow letter. It's extremely important that you guys have that. It's part of what you need to have as a realtor. Sometimes the association polices it, and a lot of times the DBPR randomly polices this. So that's why it's super important that you guys have these forms and have them fully executed. There should be no excuse as to why we're turning in docs to get paid for commission and they're not executed. You guys need to make sure that you double check these forms before you put them up.
Oh, also another thing, if you guys are splitting a deal with another agent, like I said on the commission request form, make sure you're notating that at the bottom. But also only one of you needs to submit a request. You both don't need to do it, just one person. Just make sure that that note's on there so I know to pay with both of you.
I know you guys have a ton of questions. Ask them now. You can unmute yourself if you want to have something specific. If you have a question on the commission request form, if you have a question on how it needs to be done. We are in the process of finally putting the commission request form on transaction desk so that you can fill it out inside the transaction. There's just some things that we're working on and we wanted to make sure that we got completed before we put it on there.
Hi, Roberto. Calma.
So now you guys know for the sales portion of it, you need to make sure that the checklist is complete and all the documents are executed. If you have any questions with your commission request form, you can reach out to your local branch manager. You can reach out to myself or Carolina to give you some, some advice or some direction on that. We also want to point out that we have a transaction coordinator. Annabelle Garcia joined our team not too long ago, so she can help facilitate some of these things. You know, if you guys don't want to dealing with the paperwork and just want to focus on your deals, it's like some of the top producers that we currently have. You're more than welcome to use Annabelle for a fee, and if you end up using Lifestyle Title of New World, that fee is covered by the brokerage for sales. So to put it real quick, if you use Annabelle as your transaction coordinator and you use Lifestyle Title of New World for the sale, that fee for the coordinator will be covered by the brokerage. Another question came in. So is there any more questions? Any more questions as to the process? A lot of these forms you can find on the LIR cloud. We have the commission request form there. We have the W-9 that a lot of communities request. What else?
Oh, also the commission request form, please make sure you are using this one, which is found on LR Cloud as well.
That's the only form approved. There's an old form that's circulating out there that's going to be declined. It's going to be returned to you for you to use this form.
And this is on LR Cloud. You go here to, it's going to be under popular forms. If I have any Jersey people in here, we have a Jersey one as well, so we would find it there. We have our W-9 in here as well.
Yeah, there's a lot of forms on there. Extremely resource what George did there for us. So
here's a W-9 status change form.
You touch it. Do we have a new Miami area application form?
The what?
No, I'm reading a question.
Can I ask you a question, please?
I'm in the training. Let me finish the training. I'll get to you. That's all I hear emails. All right, real quick. She touched up on bring up the status change form. I want to touch base on the status change form, which is also important as part of your commission. It's going to download it. This status change form, obviously, and if you have a listing and you close your listing, I've made this status change form, or we're going to make it part of the closing checklist. This needs to be filled out properly. Obviously, if there's a change of price, you do that in the top section, an extension, a transfer from a brokerage, if it's back on the market. But the second box, the contract status, this is extremely important. When you put the closed sale in the section 10, that selling agent ID, right under section 10, that selling agent ID is the buyer's agent, not the listing agent. We want to make sure that you put the buyer's agent right on the number 10. The second one. We want to make sure that you put the buyer's agent. If you are both the listing and the buyer, then you will put your information on there. But the information that goes on that form is the buyer's or the tenant's agent. You know, I get a lot of forms that are from our listings, and we automatically think that the selling agent is us, and we fill that out. So no, we want to make sure that when you fill that out, you fill it completely. To the right, there's type of contingencies. That's very important. These are all, everything in R is required, and these are things that the MLS asks us for. We get these forms and they're incomplete. So make sure that every required section, type of contingencies, furnished info, intended use, the sold financing type, we get this blank. I can't guess how it was bought. It was VA, FHA. I know where to look for it, but it makes me scramble, or Carolina scramble, having to go look at the final alta to decipher if it was FHA or not, or if a credit was given. So if you're a listing agent and you're going to get paid, you need to make sure that this form is properly filled out with the information required so that we can properly update our MLS. So that's that for that. Any questions? I know you guys have a ton of questions with commission. So if you have them, go ahead and ask them now.
Hello, Roberto. Can you hear me?
You can unmute yourself if you need to.
You want me to go over something again?
If there's anything that you guys want us to specifically go over, you can let us know. Is there anything that we want to go over again? Let us know.
Can you hear me, Roberto?
If not, this recording is going to get, this training has been recorded, so it'll be put on the LIR cloud. We're also going to be, Pablo has helped us do some trainings, some quick burst trainings. So we'll be putting those on the LIR cloud as well. So we'll be putting trainings on how to get paid for rentals, how to put a listing up, how to fill out the commission request form. We'll be doing individual trainings or specific trainings for commission disbursements so that we teach you how to get paid at the closing table when using Lifestyle Title of New World. Those CDAs are only eligible to be used when you close with Lifestyle Title of New World. So we'll be doing quick trainings on those and putting them on the LIR cloud. I got a question.
This is the MLS listing copy. Because I couldn't find it earlier. But the IMAP and the MLS listing copy, I know some people were asking how we get that.
The IMAP, the reason we require, and you as agents need to know this, the reason we require this and the DVPR requires that you have this is to verify that the owner on record and the property address is what's on the contract. You know, it's really for so that we know that nobody's either falsifying or doing any type of fraud. So this property information sheet, I recommend that you get it directly from IMAP, or you can get it from the property appraisals website from the county. So you can do it from Miami-Dade or Broward. You can get that. I just recommend that you go directly to the IMAP. It's all the information that you need to know and that we as we need to have for the brokerage.
So when you pull this up and click on this,
correct,
right here, that's going to take you to the IMAP.
So if you pull this MLS info sheet, which we required as well to make proof that it was on there, to see who the other brokerage was, to see who the other agent was, you can go from here, click on that link, and it will take you directly to that point right there.
And then just print that to PDF. And that's what you want to upload.
Myraf asked if the status change form is the same for properties out of the area. No, it's only for for the Miami Association and Broward as well. Any outside areas? Well, if the listing is with us, we're gonna have control of it. So you're only gonna send us a status change form when the listing belongs to Lifestyle or belongs to you. That's really the only time we're gonna fill it out. If you do have the listing and it's out of the area, we will need to close our, and you have it with our MLS, we will need to update our MLS. So yes, a status change form will be required.
An escrow letter, make sure you're uploading the escrow letter. It looks like this, not the escrow disbursement. And it's the letter stating that the funds were being held.
My ref asking it if the property was off market. We just got from the Miami Association of Realtors, we just got access for us to relay any off market properties so that we can put them as comp sales and record them for the agent on the MLS history. We also put that form on the LIR cloud. So if there's an off market property, and I'm asking for the MLS, just put a document in there that it's saying that the property is off market. And that will satisfy it. I think that's it.
Roberto, I have a question.
Do we have a new member Miami RE application form as a template too? We don't, but that's a very good one. I'll make sure that we add that RE application to the LIR cloud and maybe create a template out of it too. So thank you, Paola. All right, guys, I want to make sure we covered everything.
Can you
Any
hear
questions?
me, Roberto?
Now's your time to speak. You got a few minutes to unload on us. Anything that you want to know, anything that we may have not covered.
I just thought of
I
something.
have a question.
If you have a rental renewal, you can use the rental community building referral checklist, since all the information you're really gonna have is the lease renewal. You can use that one, and instead of the invoice, you can upload the lease renewal and then the commission request form and the receipt. But we will be creating a checklist specifically for that as well. But for now, you can use this one, the rental community checklist.
Why can't I hear it? Oh, is your volume down that you can have? Oh, it is.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
We had the volume down. Go ahead, Alma.
Hey, hi. I did a rental and it happened between 2 days. I got the checks from the tenants for me and the other agent. I deposited already.
Mhm.
I put in the contract. You knew where I was holding it, but actually I got the money. And now I'm concerned because I don't have an escrow letter. And what am I supposed to do now? Because
Okay.
it happened so fast that it happened between Friday night and Saturday.
Yeah, so this is what I was saying earlier. So if you don't have an escrow letter, which I mean, it can happen,
For
Just-
rentals, yes.
just upload a good word, and just type. So what was the reason? It was just a quick quick.
Quick rental, yeah, where no escrow letter was required.
So just no escrow
Letter.
letter.
And I gave the check to the other agent and I got my check. It's already deposited to Lifestyle, but I haven't submitted this because I didn't even know how.
Yeah, so you can
But now,
something like that. Make sure you type your name as well, and just upload that. Just so we know that that's why there is no escrow letter. So we have some type of reasoning and we have that on file. So that's perfectly fine.
It's required. You guys understand it's a requirement for us as a brokerage, and it's a requirement for you guys as agents to have that information. So make sure you have it. Yeah, we have.
Sorry if you guys were asking questions.
Any other questions? Ask away. I know we get tons of questions, so this is the reason we did the training. So if you guys have any questions, now's the time. You're gonna have 10 minutes to ask away. A lot of you do a very good job submitting the work. You guys know it. We process Carolina processes over 30 commissions a day. There's a lot of you guys that are doing it right. So
I think one of the biggest doubts is the status, because there is no actual submit button and there is really no way for you. There's no like confirmation for you to know that you submitted it, but as long as you put it on closed, I will receive your notification. I don't receive the notification for any other status. So if you put it on closed file complete, I'm not gonna know. So just make sure you're putting it on closed and saving it, and I should get a notification.
I hate re-emphasizing this. Oh, no, me myself. Go ahead. I hate re-emphasizing this, but guys, executed contract, seller's property disclosure, and the HUD need to be fully executed, both parties. Sometimes the closing disclosure that gets provided to us, which is good, is only for the buyer or the seller side. It's preferably that you turn in an ALTA because an ALTA describes both, gives you the information from both sides. So if there's a credit or a transaction fee that got recorded, um, we can see it. Sometimes we may get closing disclosures for the buyer and it doesn't show us the commission that the sellers are paying. So it's important that for that HUD or ALTA, we only get the HUD or the ALTA. The closing disclosure can sometimes help us, but we prefer the ALTA or the HUD as it explains both sides of the transaction. We need that one also executed. The receipt that you want to put on that last request on all of the checklists is the receipt or the wire confirmation of proof that Lifestyle received the funds. We don't want to know. Sometimes we get a wire confirmation for the closer, the seller got the money, or sometimes we get a wire confirmation for an escrow check. We need
Or
to.
sometimes we get an image of the check.
That's not going to work. We need to make sure that we get the actual receipt or confirmation that it was actually deposited to us. If it was a check mailed to us, you can email. I put the email in the chat. You can email myself and Carolina, and we'll confirm and send you confirmation that we did receive the check and deposited it. So it's important. We don't want to see a copy of the check. A copy of the check is not going to work, and it's going to delay your commission request. So make sure that if you have the copy of the check and it was mailed to Lifestyle, confirm with Carolina or myself that we received it and was deposited, because you just don't want to hold up your commission request. We want to pay you on time. We don't want to hold your money. It's very, it's not a problem, but it just messes up our accounting if we hold your money. That money's not for us. It's for you guys to get paid. Speaking of holding money, please, please, please request your money as soon as you close or you close the rental. If we find out that we have rentals or closings that are being held over 60 days, Lifestyle may impose a penalty for holding that money for you. We're in the process of clearing that out. We have a lot of agents that come to us 3, 6 months, a year after claiming commissions requests, and it just, it puts a lot of pressure on our accounting department to make sure that we keep our numbers straight. So please, you guys need your money. You want to get paid. We're not a holding bank here, so it's important that you guys request your commissions on time. Thank you for your valuable information. A screenshot of the check can work as a receipt. No, Paola. A screenshot of the check will not work. You need a copy of the receipt or confirmation that Lifestyle, Carolina, or herself received the check.
So receipts only.
So
Or
receipts
confirmation would be from us if it was mailed to the Miami-Dade's office. And make sure that the receipt is including the account number that it was deposited to and the date. That's how I'm going to confirm that it was actually deposited. Because sometimes we get images that are cut off and it's just the amount.
Another recommendation is that you have the deposit account for the branch that you work at. So if you're a Kendall agent, make sure you have the deposit account for your Kendall branch. If you're a Homestead agent, same thing. West Gables agent, Miami Lakes, Pembroke Pines, West Palm Beach, New Jersey. We have the main account that's out there. You guys can deposit to that account. That's not a problem. But it's preferred that you guys deposit to your branch account.
If you don't have it, reach out to us, or your managers should also have it as well of your branch.
All right, guys, we'll be wrapping this up. We appreciate every one of you to join us today. I hope we covered a lot of good information. We covered a lot of things that you guys have concerns about. Carolina and I are here to back you up with anything that you need. I put the email on there already, so you guys can email us any concerns or questions that you have. Keep a lookout for more pop-up trainings or quick burst trainings that we'll be putting on the LIR cloud. And that's about it. Anything else from you, Carolina?
No, we will probably do another video just straight to the point of how to request a commission. Because, you know, this is more interactive. Yeah. Any last minute questions?
All right, guys.
Thank you
can
guys
reach
for
out.
joining.
Thank you, Carolina, for a great training. I want to give a round of applause to her. She's been doing a good job in making sure you guys have been paying on time and processing your commissions. So a big shout out to her. Big shout out to the admin team for helping us out, and Alicia for setting up this training. Thank you for joining us. Look for this training on the LR Cloud, and that's about it, guys. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.